Welcome back to Leadership Devotionals. For today, we are on the fourth installment of the principle in Apostle Paul's leadership. And this time, we will be dealing on the principle that a leader has to deal with various cultures. You know, leaders cross ethnic, racial, and cultural boundaries in the service of God. After all of us are equal before God. After all, it says, at the foot of the cross, the ground is level. And so as leaders who are called into God's purpose, we cross ethnic, racial, and cultural boundaries. You know, in 1 Corinthians 9:18-22, that was the topic of our talk in the last episode, in episode 3, about the leader's identity. While Christian Paul is not Judeo-centric, meaning to say, while he is not, centered on being really a Jew. In fact, he said, to the Jew, I became a Jew, when in fact, he is a Jew. But he was just trying to tell that he can be anybody to anybody so that he will be able to bring people to Christ. And so, while Christian Paul was not Judeo-centric, this text, 1 Corinthians 9 verse 18-22, reveals that Paul was deeply Judeo-sensitive. Imagine that. He was sensitive to the weak. He was sensitive to those who are in the law. He was sensitive to those who are outside the law. He was sensitive to the Jews. All of this, Paul was sensitive to the cultural fine prints of the people that he come in contact with. And so similarly, as leaders, we are not called to be ethnocentric, but rather we are called to be Christ-centered and ethnosensitive. Now that's very beautiful. We are Christ-centered, but we are sensitive to the needs, we are sensitive to the sensitivities of the people around us. Like Paul, we will require an intimate knowledge. Okay, we will need an intimate knowledge of our own history and culture. Remember, Paul was a Pharisee and he was learned in the scripture. And so he knows the history and culture of his origins. Because you see, self-awareness assists us as leaders in coming to terms with our own personal identity and history. This is very important. We have to be aware of ourselves. That's why self-awareness, it says here, self-awareness assists us as leaders in coming to terms with our own personal identity and history. Modern leadership experts often call this knowledge as emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence assists us in learning to speak the cultural language of our people of origin. By critically analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of the culture and the worldview that has been passed on to us, we will better be able to relativize and utilize our personal history. This practice is absolutely essential in modern leadership environment. In a time and day like what we have right now, where travel has been so fast that this world has almost become like our neighborhood. We can, travel has been so fast that you are here and tomorrow you can be in another country. In a few hours you can be in another country. All those things and you're interacting with various ethnic groups, you're interacting with various cultures, as a leader, it is important that our emotional intelligence will assist us in learning to speak the cultural language of the people we interact with. Effective leadership also requires that we undertake effective study of the culture of the people that we lead. You know, one very good example of leadership is Herb Kelleher, the CEO of Southwest Airlines. That person has a natural talent to adapt to the various cultures within his company. 4 o'clock in the morning, you can see him there with the baggers and the sorters of luggages, drinking coffee with them, interacting with them, adapting to their culture. 10 o'clock in the morning, you can see him in the boardroom, meeting with the stakeholders and with the stockholders of the company, dealing with the high-end, high-profile decisions makers of the company. Then at one point of the day, you can see him with a crew in the plane, distributing water, assisting passengers with their luggages. He can be many persons to any person in their company. He can adapt to any culture within his company. That's the beauty of a multifaceted leader. As I've said a while ago, leaders, they cross ethnic, racial, and cultural boundaries in their service of their people. And so, it will require, such talent will require situationally appropriate methods. You cannot speak to your baggers and your luggage sorters highfalutin company financial status. You have to adapt to the appropriate method to these people. Yet at the same time, you cannot speak, the usual street language that you adapt here with the people here when you are dealing with, finance people, with fellow CEOs, or, with your managers and all those other high-end decision makers and policy makers of the company. That's why it will require situationally appropriate methods. And so, when we interact with our people, the lesson that we have to take here from Paul is he was sensitive to the culture of the people that he interacts with. We should consult with people from the cultures we are serving, read their history books, and find a cultural mentor. That way, we can easily adapt. We can easily get attuned with our people, and that way we can lead them properly. That way we can even fulfill the purpose that God has for us as Christian leaders. And so my takeaway for this episode is bring down the barriers of culture, bring down the barriers of ethnicity, bring down the barriers of race in your organization, and treat people equally, treat people as one. Be fair with everyone and lead them with love, because God has put you there to be a leader who will take care of the people in your charge, who will take care of the people that have been entrusted to you to care for. God bless you all. Hello, fellow leaders. If you have been blessed with the devotional that you have just heard, don't forget to like, share, or subscribe. Because when you do that, more people, more leaders will be blessed with the same blessing that you have experienced. In YouTube channel, click subscribe to Good Shepherd Consultants. God bless you.